So the spirit of excellence is poured upon a child of God because God is perfect. And when we pursue His perfection, we catch up with excellence. And that spirit continued to imbue and drive me as I did my degree. And again, God enabled me to get one of the top 10 ranks. And when I went to the MA, I said, Lord, I hope, though I'm done humanities, I hope I will not have a day of unemployment, unlike the man who led me to Christ, who was unemployed for a year, and I saw he was frustrated. And God was faithful. Within 1 year, the very first exam I took for employment, the State Bank Probationary Officer's exam, where normally I should not have done well because I am not very strong in numbers, in maths. Yet miraculously, I did well enough to get selected into Bangalore Circle of the SBI and did well in the interview again. But I knew that this is not my ultimate goal because I was discipled and taught to think that I should make my career a career for God. My models were Daniel and Joseph in the Bible. So Daniel was blameless, he was excellent, he was outstanding, he was better than all the civil servants of his time. He was the favorite of successive regimes, of monarchs. He had the ability to see visions and interpret dreams. So that was the model I was pursuing. And so I said I should try to get into the civil services. And I aspired for the civil services and God enabled me to get into the Indian Police Service in the year 1987.
நான் கட்டுப்பாட்டோட வளர்க்கப்பட்டவ. சின்ன பிரச்சனை வந்தாலும் ஃபேஸ் பண்ண பயமா இருக்கும். +2 எக்ஸாம் நல்லா பண்ணியும் ரிசல்ட்ல ஃபெயில் ஆயிட்டேன். அப்பதான் டோல் ஃப்ரீ நம்பர் கிடைச்சது. எனக்குள்ள தன்னம்பிக்கையும் மன உறுதியும் அதிகமாச்சு.
உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி புத்தகத்தை இலவசமாக பெற்றிட கால் 1800425885.
தேங்க்ஸ் டு உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி.
லவ் பண்ணி உன்னையே கல்யாணம் பண்ணி நான் ஒரு பெரிய தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன்.
வாங்கின கடனை ஒழுங்கா கொடுக்க முடியல, நீலாம் எதுக்கியா?
உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி இலவச புத்தகம் பெற கால் 1800425885.
என்னை மாற்றிய சக்தி உங்களையும் மாற்றும்.
நான் குடும்ப வாழ்க்கையில நுழைஞ்சதும் பல பிரச்சனைகளை சந்திச்சேன். சின்ன சின்ன பிரச்சனை கூட எனக்கு பெருசா தெரிஞ்சது. அப்பதான் எனக்கு டோல் ஃப்ரீ நம்பர் கிடைச்சது. அதன் மூலமா உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி புக்கும் கிடைச்சது.
உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி புத்தகத்தை இலவசமாக பெற்றிட கால் 1800425885.
என்னை மாற்றிய சக்தி உங்களையும் மாற்றும்.
உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி.
I joined the Indian Police Service as an assistant superintendent of police under training. And I felt that God had a plan in enabling me to join the IPS to bring about change, because change is something that challenges me. One of my quotes that I have myself written is, change challenges us, but challenge changes us. So the challenge of Jesus changes us, and it enables us to face any kind of change and challenge. And in 1989, exactly a week after my engagement, I went along with the district SP and a large party of people from Tuticorin, where I was training, to the Rabbit Island nearby. It's a coral island, and the SP had told me that even if you go 100 meters in the water, it's like a pool. You can stand anywhere. And since I was learning to swim, I felt comfortable I can stand if I am tired. So that day, after having a breakfast, I ventured into the water. And I found I could stand here and there. Even the professional divers saw I am swimming well with snorkel and goggles, and they took their eyes off me. But at that time I took a longer swim, And suddenly I was tired, and I tried to stand, and I found suddenly water several feet above my head. I came to the surface to wave my hand, thinking that my orderly bodyguard would see my hand and come to my rescue, but he was busy having breakfast and he probably didn't see me. And what happened is I threw the snorkel in a reflex because water had entered through it. The next thing I knew, I had gone to the bottom, and then I must have lost consciousness, but people suddenly saw that I was floating lifeless. A man called Moses, a special branch head constable, picked me up, slung me on his shoulders. He found froth and blood-stained foam on my nostrils. He brought me to the shore and he said, his story is over. That means he had pronounced me dead. At that time, the SP, who was himself an agnostic, looked towards the shore where there were a lot of churches and shouted, "Oh God," in an automatic response to this tragedy. And I think God heard his cry and gave him the courage for the first time to try to resuscitate someone. And he was used by God to breathe life back into me. After a long while, I breathed. Next day, I went to one of those large churches and knelt and thanked God. I do not know why he allowed it to happen in his foreknowledge. But he was preparing me for something more. Because in Isaiah it said, when you go through the water, it will not cover you. When you go through the fire, it will not consume you. And next experience was experience of fire. I was posted as ASP Kanchipuram, and the month of May 1991, elections had been announced. The former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was coming to Sri Perumbudur, which was part of my jurisdiction. I went and objected to the change of venue there, and I told the organizers that in the interest of the former Prime Minister's security, they must not have it in the changed venue, which is not secure. But they continued to insist and went ahead. The next day, when the former Prime Minister Sri Rajiv Gandhi arrived with his usual charismatic smile, he reached out to people at the barricades. I controlled them. Then I tried to stand next to him. My boss, Mohammad Iqbal, SP of the district, said, "It's all right, Philip, move a little ahead." So I walked just 2 to 3 feet ahead of the VIP. And there were a lot of people who were checked and frisked, who were greeting him with shawls and words of greeting. I thought he will not stop when he came to a girl dressed in white who had been allowed by the organizers to read a poem that she had written in his praise in Hindi. At that juncture, I turned right to see. Suddenly, I didn't see him because he had indicated and some group of women had surrounded him. So I retraced my step. At that time, there was a huge blast. That is the world's first human and woman bomb. A woman, as we know, had loaded an RDX bomb on her back and had set off the bomb by triggering it. And I was thrown in the air and fell near the feet of the mangled remains of the former Prime Minister. I myself was badly injured. I had 20% burns. Even today, 100 steel pellets remain in different parts of my bone and flesh as reminders of God's saving grace and mercy. 18 people died there, including my boss, the Superintendent of Police, 9 police officers, 9 others. But God had spared my life. People died of a single steel pellet penetrating their spleen and causing internal bleeding. One person died without any external injury of shock wave. So people told me that this is a dramatic confirmation of God's purpose for your life. So in the coming years, I introspected and I said, I must try to bring about change in the Indian police. This is an opportunity God has given me, and He has confirmed it by saving me twice from near-death experiences. And as I continue to think, I got this concept which was born in my mind when I asked, how do I share my power as a police officer with ordinary citizens so that they do not fear the police? And the concept of Friends of Police was born. And now it has become a very popular and successful movement, not only known in Tamil Nadu, but in the rest of the country and around the world. And it's also a model of community policing on the internet. So God is fulfilling His plan and purpose and His word. Another miracle that happened was in the year 1997, I was selected as the only civil servant from all of government service, the entire government service. Again, basis of Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20. To Him who by means of His power working in us is able to do far more than we can ask for or even imagine. The scholarship officer said this is a very coveted scholarship, the British Gurukul Scholarship for Excellence and Leadership. And only the top guys in any field will get selected after 2 very competitive interviews. 2,000 outstanding applicants from all fields, all professions, below the age of 40 would apply. I said, if it is God's will, nothing is impossible. So it's the impossible that makes the impossible possible. That means you've got to imagine in Christ and it'll become possible. That was my experience over the last many years, and I tested it again here. And when the results came, they said I had done among the best in both the first interview and the final interview in Delhi. And the Times paper in the United Kingdom itself said, Indian cop leads scholar team to London School of Economics for the glory of God.
Power to change. உன்னை மாற்றும் சக்தி புத்தகத்தை இலவசமாக நீங்கள் வாங்கி படிக்கலாம். அழைக்க வேண்டிய ஃபோன் நம்பர் 1-800-425-8855 1800-425-8855. இப்பொழுதே ஃபோன் செய்யுங்கள்.